Hello and welcome to Filmmaking Etiquette. And today's interesting subject, that's right, it's ambient sound. First, let's talk about what is ambient sound. Ambient sound, also known as ambient audio, ambient atmosphere, and atmos, and a few others, is the background sound you're constantly hearing when you're watching a film, like the woodland critters and all that in the background. That's the ambient sound, the wind whistling and all that. Ambient sound is important for your films. It provides a continuity between your shots and scenes. Now with these, you want to have the same kind of like level of sound all the way through. You don't want different levels, but if you've got the same ambient sound going all the way through, it keeps you in the film, it keeps you in the scene. Ambient sound also helps, provide something there for the unnatural silences that do occur in films, like when everyone's standing around and not talking, or it's just silence, and you want that kind of ambient sound, because the ambient sound can be really creepy at that point if that's what you're going for, because ambient sound also affects the tone and the themes of your film as well. So if it is a quiet scene, you kind of want that creepy ambient sound in the background to help move your scene forward and keep it going. There are many different types of ambient sound for you to use in your film as well, so let's just go through a couple of them. There's matching ambient sound, which is recorded to go with the ambient sound you've already got for your scene. You also have a wild sound, which is background noise with distinct sounds in the back for your ambient sound. Buzz track is a general term for ambient sound. And then there's room tone, which is the tone of the room if everything's silent and all that. The best way to record your ambient sound is probably just to get a Tascam and go to where you want to get your ambient sound from. So grab your Tascam, maybe grab a microphone as well, and set that up somewhere. Leave it for, the duration of your clip or that scene, maybe a bit longer, because if you've got more, then you can avoid some noises that you might not want. So say if you were filming in the woods and there's a dog barking and there weren't any dogs in your film, then you can just cut that out. You can also just set up your camera wherever it is as well and just get the ambient sound from your camera's microphone. Now the levels aren't that they're not that important really when you're recording it, because you can just edit that all down in post and then work it into your final project. You should also do close-up recordings. So say if you were filming in a rainforest or at a zoo and you wanted to get like an insect buzzing at the rainforest, so you zoom in on that sound so you've got it. Or if you wanted to hear like a lion roar when you went to the zoo, then you just zoom on that sound and then use that. Because that's something that you really need in your film, then you need to get that within your ambient sound. Also, you don't have to use the ambient sound as it was recorded. Edit the ambient sound for your needs. You don't need to have the whole continuous clip of that audio. If there's a part you really like at the start and you want to loop that, then loop that all the way through your clip, your scene, or whatever. Remember to use the EQ, audio equalization, in your ambient sound as well, and get what you really want from it. So let's look at a clip that I've already filmed that's got really bad ambient sound. We're going to have a look at it and see, what's wrong with it. Like if it works, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But from there, we'll go on and edit it and see what it looks like as a good edit with good ambient sound. So as you can see from that clip, the sound was all a bit messed up. There was a lot of wind rustling past the microphone, and the footsteps of the main character were really prominent. It just didn't work at all. Now, the music kind of works, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about ambient sound. And so you don't really get the feeling of the woods at all, and it's all on different levels. So it doesn't work that well. So let's see what we can do when we edit it. Okay, so now we've seen it done with ambient sound, so let's see the whole clip with the music and the sound effects in now. So you can see the difference between doing the ambient sound separately and putting in your edit, rather than just using the ambient sound that you record off your camera while you're filming your scene. Now, ambient sound is so important to your project. It really makes a difference. It's just as important as lighting or casting or writing or even directing, camera work. Because if you don't have your ambient sound, there's no sense of like reality, there's no anchor holding you down in your scene. And with ambient sound you really get that. You get the feeling of the scene, you get the tone, you get what the characters are and where you are. The sounds that everyone's heard, they're always in your always in the background, wherever you go. So it's very relatable. So when you've got with the original clip we saw, with the jumbled up ambient sound and music and sound effects and all that, it really brings you out of what you're watching. And something in the edit clip we just did, even though I'm not the best at editing, we can start to see what you really want when you start doing ambient sound and editing. Ambient sound might be a boring part of filmmaking. It's not exciting, it's not interesting, but it's something that you need to do, because without it, your film's going to suffer, your project's going to suffer, and while you're piecing it all together, you're going to realise that. But I've learned from personal experience not to let ambient sound be an obstacle for me again, because it really ruins your project. And if you've got time to go back and redo your ambient sound, that's great, but sometimes you don't, and you don't realise that until you're in the final stages of editing, that it's really gone wrong. Big part of achieving your vision for what you want from your projects. So I hope this has helped. Doing this research into ambient sound has definitely helped me, how I'm going to approach ambient sound in the future projects anyway. And hopefully it will help you as well when you tackle your own projects and your own films.
Big money, Salvia. Big money, Salvia. Big money, Salvia, Salvia. Big money, Salvia. Big money, Salvia.
Big money.